Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Y'all ready for this? Look, you got to see this guy. I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
I would imagine it can only get worse.
Better than, I think, almost anybody.
And by the way, who knew the other side of the picture better than me? I knew it.
Nobody knows more about environmental impact statements than me. I understand the power of Facebook, maybe better than almost anybody. I know more about renewables than any human being on Earth. Nobody knows more about polls than me. I know more about courts than any human being on Earth. I know more about steelworkers than anybody that's ever run for office.
I know more about golf than Obama knows.
Nobody knows more about banks than I do.
Nobody knows more about trade than me. Well, obviously, he doesn't know about nuclear weapons. I know more about nuclear weapons than he'll ever know.
I understand the tax laws better than almost anyone.
Who knows more about lawsuits than I do? I'm the king. I know more about offense and defense than they will ever understand.
Nobody even understands it but me. It's called devaluation.
I understand money better than anybody.
I understand the system better than anybody. Nobody knows more about debt than I do. Nobody knows the game better than me.
I know more about contributions than anybody.
And who knows more about the word apprentice than Donald Trump?
I understand politicians better than anybody. Nobody knows politicians better than me.
Who knows the other side better than me?
Who knows the other side better than me?
I think I know more about the other side than almost anybody.
And I understand the other side. Perhaps I understand it better than anybody else.
I was the fair-haired boy. Nobody knows more about it than me. I know more than these politicians. These guys don't know anything.
I know a lot. I know more than I'm ever going to tell you. The truth is, I'm actually a modest person. Very modest. It's true.
My uncle was a great person. He was at MIT. He taught at MIT for, I think, like a record number of years. He was a great super genius. Dr. John Trump. I like this stuff. I really get it. People are surprised that I understand it. Every one of these doctors said, how do you know so much about this? Maybe I have a natural ability. Maybe I should have done that instead of running for president. As of the time I left the plane with you, we had 240 cases. Well, that's at least what was on a very fine network known as Fox News. I know you love it, but that's what I happened to be watching. And how was the show last night? Did it get good ratings, by the way? Oh, really? I heard it broke low ratings records, but maybe that's wrong. That's what they told me. I can't imagine that. Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from CNN.
I don't watch CNN. That's why I don't recognize you. I really don't. I don't watch it. I don't watch CNN because CNN is fake news. Go ahead.
About the cruise ship, has a decision been made?
It's a very good question. I know a lot about West Point. Trust me. I'm like a smart person. And I have been on their cover like 14 or 15 times. I think we have the all-time record in the history of Time magazine. I can read the polls maybe better than anybody because it seems that I understood the polls a lot better than many of the pollsters understood the polls. I can handle a bad story better than anybody, as long as it's true. I do get good ratings, you have to admit that. I love the First Amendment. Nobody loves it better than me.
With the exception of the late, great Abraham Lincoln, I can be more presidential than any president that's ever held this office. That I can tell you.
My other life was very good. I'm the builder president, remember that, so I understand this.
You're made for this.
One of the great memories of all time, I went to an Ivy League college. I was a nice student. I did very well. I'm a very intelligent person. And I think you can see I'm having a good time. I really am. Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs.
Take a look at her. She's a slob.
Slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account.
Only Rosie O'Donnell. Like you wouldn't have your job if you weren't beautiful. They're worried about my tone. Oh, look at my African American over here. Look at him.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are sick.
Yeah.
I'm speaking with myself, number one, because I have a very good brain and I've said a lot of things.
I know more about ISIS than the generals do. When my intelligence people tell me how wonderful Iran is, if you don't mind, I'm going to just go by my own counsel.
Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it. I really believe I'd run in there even if I didn't have a weapon. And I think most of the people in this room would have done that too. Nobody knows the system better than me.
Nobody knows politicians better than I do.
Nobody knows. Nobody's better.
Nobody's stronger.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am. I love the First Amendment. Nobody loves it better than me.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do.
There is nobody that respects women more than I do.
Nobody builds walls better than me.
Nobody in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump. Nobody knows that better than me.
Nobody even understands it but me.
Nobody can do it like me.
Which is why I alone can fix it. I have Ivy League education, smart guy.
I know words. I have the best words. I mean, like, I'm a smart person. It's this. It's not my salesmanship.
It's what?
This. You know what that is? It's the brain power.
I'm getting thousands of letters and tweets that I was right about the whole situation. I mean, I've been right about a lot of things, frankly. I should be a newscaster because I called it before the news.
I watch this stuff. You know, I'm like a guy with vision. I have an instinct for this kind of thing. I'm good at war. I've had a lot of wars of my own. I'm really good at war. In my book, I predicted terrorism. It's a rigged system. I think I've done a great service by pointing this out. I was the one that really broke the glass ceiling on behalf of women. I think I'm doing the military a great favor. Did a great job in Texas, a great job in Florida. I truly believe that the first 100 days of my administration has been just about the most successful in our country's history. It looked like 1.5 million people.
Thank you, everybody. What a crowd, what a turnout.
I understand steaks. It's my favorite food, and these are the best.
Was this a good vote? The best. Okay, the best vote of his life. How am I doing? Am I doing okay? I'm president. Hey, I'm president. Can you believe it, right? We are coordinating with the Chinese government and working closely together on the coronavirus outbreak in China. My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat. Now, the virus that we're talking about having to do, you know, a lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat. Because of all we've done, the risk to the American people remains very low. People die from the flu, and this is very unusual. And it is a little bit different, but in some ways it's easier, and in some ways it's a little bit tougher. But we have it so well under control. I mean, view this the same as the flu. When somebody sneezes, I mean, I try and bail out as much as possible. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. And from our shores, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows. The fact is, the greatest experts, I've spoken to them all, nobody really knows. We're ordering a lot of supplies. We're ordering a lot of elements that, frankly, we wouldn't be ordering unless it was something like this. But we're ordering a lot of different elements of medical. Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. And this is their new hoax. If you're healthy, you will probably go through a process and you'll be fine. You take a solid flu vaccine, you don't think that would have an impact or much of an impact on corona?
No, he's asking the question, when is it going to be deployable? And that is going to be at the earliest a year to a year and a half, no matter how fast you go.
You think that's right?
And as you said, treatment's going to be available before the vaccine.
Well, I think treatment in many ways might be more exciting.
If, we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better just by, sitting around and even going to work. Some of them go to work, but they get better. I think the 3.4% is really a false number. Now, this is just my hunch, but based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people that do this, because a lot of people will have this, and it's very mild. They'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. Personally, I would say the number is way under 1%.
President Trump, who frequently questions the scientific and medical communities, says he's going off his hunch in his message to the American people. That 3.4% figure comes from the Director General of the World Health Organization, who said this week, quote, globally, about 3.4% of reported coronavirus cases have died. By comparison, seasonal flu generally kills far fewer than 1% of those infected, unquote.
I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius.